Hi, hello, it's Bonita here from the Trauma Recovery School and the Trauma Recovery Method. So let's talk social anxiety and why do we take the first steps and then we self-sabotage. So social anxiety disorder is also called social phobia, and it's a long-term and overwhelming fear of social situations. Now, it can leave us feeling anxious of being judged, for example. So when meeting new people or speaking in front of others or simply walking over to see other people. Now, social anxiety can be very distressing and it has a very big impact on our life. It affects everyday jobs, our confidence, relationships, work, school. We may feel anxious just thinking about these situations and then we avoid them altogether. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of social anxiety? Now, they often include the fear of situations in which you may be judged or criticized. So when you need to go over and tell a group of people something, or you simply go over to introduce yourself, worrying what others will notice that you are anxious. So if you appear sweating, blushing, or maybe you have a bit of a shaky voice and you think negatively, they think negatively of you. That's what you're worrying about. Or you worry about being embarrassed or humiliating yourself in front of others. An intense fear of interacting or talking with other people, especially perhaps you're dating, and then avoiding being the center of attention or not liking any attention at all. The intense fear of saying the wrong thing. You may find yourself spending time after a social situation analyzing your performance and identifying mistakes that you may have made or things you should not have said or done. Now, what actually happens in these situations is the following. Our autonomic nervous system kicks in and it makes us feel uncomfortable, so we start to resist. We walk over to the group. Now, this is a change in our current state, and then the body starts to feel that this is different from what we normally do. We normally avoid this type of situation, right? In fact, that's more of a confidence issue. So you walk towards that group of people you really want to go to speak to, but your invisible twin kicks in, and we know that bodily response that kicks in really well. It says the price that you're going to pay for being social, being visible, being seen, making this change will be far greater. The suffering will be far greater than the problem you have with staying the same. So one part of your brain and body is saying, man, I really want to go over and see these people. And the other part, your invisible twin, is saying, hey, that trauma response in your nervous system is saying you want this change, but I certainly don't want to do that. I want to stay as I am. Your invisible twin is saying, hey, I'm staying as I am. But in a nutshell, our body responds to pain that it may have after going to meet these people. And this refers to maybe the judgment, being talked about. What if they say something stupid? That becomes our trauma prediction. Now, this explanation comes from the amazing psychotherapist Alan Perry. Now, part of the social anxiety may have come from a previous trauma response or a childhood experience that has remained with us for life. A huge part of my work in helping people recover from trauma is to discover what is this trauma prediction, how the nervous system activation is predicting that there is some threat to you. Now, your brain is figuring out what it needs. It predicts unsafety, so it responds in your body and holds you back. It's trying to protect you. That's all it's doing. Now, the body responds and it becomes a trauma response for unsafety. And we need to discover what the response is so we can figure out the response and then retrain the body and the brain to not go worst case scenario all the time. Now, nothing physical is going to happen to us if we do go over and meet these people that we may actually consider as our friends or even our family. Now, finding out what this trauma prediction is key to you never having or experiencing it again and recovering fully. Now, how do we update your nervous system and stop it from overreacting? Well, I can tell you how, and it's using our trauma recovery method program. We use the right individualized plan for you, the right reprogramming tool and techniques, and the right support to help you recover from trauma. Now, most top tips would recommend that you do the following. Avoid avoidance. That's a really good tip, but how do you do that? What would you know where to start? They'll say stay with your anxiety. Again, a good tip, but practically, how does that work? And then they'll say, challenge your thinking. That's great, but what reprogramming tool helps you for that specific problem? They may say, just drop your safety behaviors. Okay, so have you been able to change your behaviors by yourself yet? Has the advice from friends and family worked? I suspect not. That's why you're here, right? It's all great tips, but that's what they are, just tips. If you want further information about our trauma recovery method program, why not email me at Bonita, Bonita, at thetraumarecoverymethod.com, and then we'll send you our trauma recovery method program webinar and booking page link, and then you can book a call with me today. It's great to speak with you. Speak to you soon. Bye.